I had a very terrible trauma growing up. I saw my father looking for blood, and nobody in the family was willing to help. Just 1 pint of blood, sir. Just 1 pint of blood. My father was in the military hospital in Yaba, Lagos, and they said my father should get a pint of blood. And I went to my uncles, and one after the other, every one of them pushed me away. And against medical advice, I called my friend Dr. Moji. I said to him, I said, sir, I need your help. He's a lab scientist. I said, take my blood. He said, no, I would never dare such a thing. He said, you are very young. I said, sorry. It's the only hope I have. My father, that's the only thing I can say, my father. He said, it's against medical advice. I said, sir, do it. No, I won't die. And I laid there and I gave him my right hand and I said, Jesus, as the blood is leaving my hand, as my innocent faith, I said, Jesus, as the blood is leaving my hand, let your blood be entering my body. Innocent faith. And that's how I gave him my hand, and my blood was taking 1 pint of my blood. As soon as he took my blood, I stood up immediately. I said, hey! He said, come. I said, what is it? He said, even adults, when they donate their blood, they sit down for hours or whatever and drink Maltina. I said, if you have Maltina, bring go. If Maltina is part of this arrangement, bring. But wait, I don't have time to wait. He said, you are not okay. I said, sir, I am okay. He carried Maltina and milk, he gave me. I drank his Maltina. And I jumped out of the place. The man could not believe it. I stand before God and I'm telling you. The man followed me to the bus stop, thinking I was going to fall. I carried the blood to the hospital and I dropped it for my father to have blood transfused. As a teenager, I got to my father. He says, Shegun, have you gotten the blood? I said, yes, daddy. My father never knew until he had taken the blood, until he left the hospital. My father was at home. It was towards his death. My father called me. He said, Shegun, where did you get that blood from? And I said, daddy, I couldn't lie because I was a Christian. I said, daddy, I donated the blood. Ah! My father said, what? My father went quiet from that moment. A few days later, my mother called me and said she's talking to my father and that my father is not responding well to her. At about 1-2 a.m., she said, go and see your father. I went to my father and he started blessing me. That's all he started doing. Just started blessing me, blessing me, blessing me. After he blessed me, he said, I think it's better for me to go home than to stay. He said, you gave me your blood. I said, daddy, that's over now. He said, no problem. That was the last conversation we had with my father and he passed. 2 hours later, my mother woke me up. She said, I'm talking to your father, he's not listening. I came down and said, he was gone. 7th of July, 1992, barely a few days ago. The challenges of life. You don't know what that did to me. So I buried my father. The very day I buried my father, people were arriving, the same people I called. They were now arriving the village for party. 6 o'clock, 6 on the dot. We buried my father. We arrived at the village about 3 o'clock, buried my father around 4, 5, 6 o'clock. 6. The moon was perfect, clear, full moon. The Lord said to me, get out of this village now and never come back until I tell you to. 1992 till date, I've never been back to that village. It was just about a few months ago when America, God began to minister to me. He said, the time is coming, you are going back home. And then recently, one of our women said, sir, there's somebody who needs to see you. Only for the person to come. Turns out to be a senator from my constituency who wants to be the governor of our state. He says, I just came to see you because I know they say if you pray for people it will work. I said, now I know what it means. You are going back home as I'm coming for your inauguration. But here's the point. Imagine if I have a wife who is always saying, can we go to your village? Why you not always go to the village? Now you must go to the village. As if there's income from going to the village. Are you running away? Maybe you have a wife in the village. You start making those kind of things. You don't know my pain. You start raising those kind of conversation, a new trouble will begin in the family you will not be able to resolve. People are deeper than what you see. You don't know what people have gone through in life.